You are here in Mandalay EF to listen to Yu talk about cloning 3G, 4G SIM cards with a PC and an oscilloscope. Lessons learned in physical security. Please be sure to make sure that your cell phones are in silent mode. Thank you. Yu.
Thanks for the introduction. Okay, so this is the joint work with my colleagues in China. So basically a bunch of people. So we are, my name is Yu, and this is my real name. That's true. Okay. Here are some recent updates from your American citizen forum in Russia. So this guy is sending periodically sending season's greetings from time to time. So this time it was saying that allegedly the NSA and GCHQ, they have stolen millions of encryption keys from a major SIM card manufacturer. I don't know, but this kind of a compromise is serious, because the only way, it's not the encryption keys, they are burned into the SIM cards. Okay, so it's not like an online app, so that basically you can just push all the updates from the internet. Okay, but since the SIM cards they're hard burned, the encryption key they're hard burned. The only way to address this security compromise is just to recall every SIM card, recall and replace every SIM card. Okay, but this is not so relevant. Just the outline of my talk, I will give a very brief introduction to the different generations of mobile technologies and SIM card security, and a very brief introduction to cryptology and the authentication protocol used in 2G, 3G, and 4G. Okay. And then I'm going to present our work using side channel attacks, and essentially, to be more precise, it was differential power analysis. Then our strategies and results and some demos. Okay, so when talking about cellular networks, actually we have different generations. The first generation, it's already dead. It's like dinosaurs. So, but we are actually moving from 2G to 3G, and in China we are moving 2G to 3G and 4G. Starting from 2G, we are already using digital technology, so we can already have codings to ensure reliable transmission, and we can also use cryptographic mechanism to protect the integrity, confidentiality of all the informations. Okay, and when we migrate to the 3G and 4G, we can enjoy high-speed transmission. Okay, so what is a SIM card? So this USIM stands for Universal Subscriber Identity Module, and it's actually a smart card. So for those of you who are not so familiar with smart card, a smart card can be considered as just a computer, a mini computer, in small size. It's not so powerful as a computer, but still it can do some computation, such as encryption, or maybe encryption, or even ISA, AES. Okay, so what is stored inside a SIM? First, it stores a serial number, and then it stores IMSI, which is actually corresponding to the country code operator, and actually the ID number, which corresponding to the phone number. Right? And there were some secrets. On GSM, the secret is purely the encryption key. But starting from 3G and 4G, we have more secrets. It's actually can be up to a dozen of secrets. It will be the master encryption key and some tweak value, because tweak value is kind of, and also 10 more parameters, secret parameters. These parameters, it's all up to the operator. All these R's and C's, they can be secret. But some operator, they choose to use public values for this. Okay, so and what if the secrets are stolen and compromised? Then it will lead to at least I can clone this SIM card, and once we have encryption key, I can tap on the communication. Maybe I could also implement implanting some like Trojan horse, and I don't know. But once we clone the SIM, we can also make fraudulent calls and also breaks the one-time pass authentication. I will show you a demo at the end of this presentation. And the question is really, what kind of cryptography is implemented in USIM? So for this, I will give you a very short introduction to cryptology. It's kind of in layman's term, because when we talk about cryptology, it's actually a combination of cryptography and cryptanalysis. Okay, so cryptography is all about the design of crypto systems to preserve important features such as confidentiality, integrity, authenticity, and non-repudiation. And cryptanalysis, it's the other way around, it's to break the crypto systems. Okay, and there are many ways to break a crypto system, such as we can take this, for example. So think of this crypto system as a function, a keyed function. So there will be some unknowns, and we can observe input and output pairs. Okay, we can observe as many as we want. Then we can systematically write them as a system of equations, and the job is just to solve this equation and to recover the secrets. Okay, so that happens. This is the classic type of cryptanalysis, and more recently we are doing things more advanced, because a crypto system is physical. It's leaking more than the input and output. It could be power consumption. It could be electronic magnetic emission. Okay, so, and we are living in a physical world, so we can actually do attacks more advanced, which is what we do. Okay, so, and what kind of cryptography is actually implemented on USIM? It's essentially authentication plus key agreement. So authentication, by definition, it's a process that ensures and confirms a user's identity. For example, so we have two parties, Alice and Bob. They share some secrets. Okay, and Alice and Bob want to authenticate Alice. So Alice will say, "Hello, I'm Alice," but Bob will not just believe her because he's saying so. Okay, so Bob should test whether Alice is true, is indeed Alice or not. So he will send some nonce, some random values to Alice, and Alice, since they both share the secret key, Alice can compute the encrypted form of this random nonce. Okay, then send back this response to Bob. Since Bob also has this key, so Bob can do exactly the same computation and verify whether Alice is true or not. I mean, it's the one he claimed or not. Okay, so this is the authentication and key agreement. Here, the key agreement, I don't agree with this term, because in cryptography, when we say key agreement, we usually refers to the DV-Hammond type of protocol, where two parties they agree on some encryption key from scratch. But here it's like we already have share some secret key, a secret master key, and then we derive some session key. But I mean, this terminology just doesn't make much difference. So we can just build this key agreement just on top of this protocol. So it's kind of another encryption of R+1, for example, and the encrypted value will be the session key. Okay, then everything afterwards, the communication can be just encrypted under this session key. And you know that the GSM actually is just this kind of authentication and a key agreement protocol, and it cannot be any worse, because they implemented this algorithm we call comp 128-1, which is fundamentally flawed. So the underlying primitive is fundamentally flawed, and the protocol is also flawed in the sense that it's only a one-way authentication. So it's only that the base station will authenticate the SIM card, but not the other way around. Okay, so that means it is subject to spoofing base station attacks. Okay, and what's more is that this kind of SIM cards is also, a GSM SIM card might also be vulnerable to side channel attacks. Okay, there are some works in the literature. Okay, and let's see what's the security improvements of the 2G and 3G over, 3G and 4G over 2G. As we can see now, starting from 3G, we are now using AES, the Advanced Encryption Standard, which is mathematically secure. It is standard by the NIST. Okay, and the authentication is now mutual. Okay, that means it's not only that the base station will authenticate the SIM card, and the SIM card will also authenticate the base station. Okay. Also, now 3G and 4G, there were still a dozen of secrets. But then we will have this question: does more secrets implies better security? Okay, so let's see. So we are going to answer this question: is this 3G and 4G SIM authentication physically secure? Let's take a look at this 3G and 4G AKA protocol. Actually, there are some difference between 3G and 4G. But the difference are not security relevant. So here I just omitted the details of the difference. Okay, and we can see here actually at the SIM card side and authentication center side, and they actually perform essentially the same computation. Okay, and they will do mutual authentication. Okay, and taking a closer look. And this is what we are. So this happens on the SIM card, and this happens on the base station, and we will only focus on this part, the left part. Okay, and what are the secrets stored in the USIM? I can show you. We have the master key, and we have the secret tick value, and we all have all these parameters, secret parameters, and these values in the parentheses, they are optional. Okay, some operators they choose to make it public, and some use secret ones. Okay, then how to recover them? The strategy is nothing new. It's just a divide and conquer. By the way, this is French. I'm not sure, but it's just like solving one single huge problem is hard, but if we could by somehow divide this one single problem into sub-problems and solving them independently, then we can do very efficient attacks. Like in this case, if we could do like this guy, if we could work on every digit independently and recover them independently and then combine, then it will lead to very efficient attacks. Okay, this is the strategy, the classic strategy. And our job is just following this strategy, and we will recover all these secrets. I mean, K, O, P, C, and all these R's and C's, one at a time using power analysis. Okay, and for these values, we will just do a standard differential power analysis. And for the rest, so-called the rotational parameters, we will do a very simple correlation power analysis. Okay, now, let me give you a very brief introduction to side channel attacks as well. Because you know that a crypto system, in addition to the input and output, it also leaking information in many ways, in many channels. Let's call these channels side channels. Okay, it could be leaking information through power consumption or EM or timing information or heat or even acoustics. Okay, so what we are going to exploit is the power consumption of a SIM card, and this is our measurement setup. So we will have by the way, this is our homemade power recorder. So we have a SIM card reader, and we also have some circuits to measure the power consumption of this SIM card. So we will give the SIM card power supply, and we will measure the power consumption at the same time using this oscilloscope. Okay, Then we also use this PC to do signal processing of this capture the power consumptions, and we also do the cryptanalysis on this PC. Okay. Then also a very brief introduction to DPA. What we call DPA is, you know that if we focus on AES with 128-bit secret key, doing brute force is just almost impossible. But if we could just break down this one single secret key into the key fragments, essentially into key bytes. As you know that AES operates make the basic operations of AES operates on the bytes, okay? And so we can do some easy enumeration for every key byte, because a key byte we have only like 256 possibilities. So we can just try all the possibilities. So the upper part is what happens in practice. So we have this device and we do a measurement, we get all the traces, power traces. And this is what happens in the hypothetical world. So we make a key guess, a guess about key byte, and then we can also, using some leaking models about this chip, and we can also get some computation estimation about this intermediate results based on the key guess. And we can test whether our key guess is true or not. Okay, so that's what we call hypothesis testing. And more importantly, we can work on this key byte independently. Okay, we do that independently and then we combine. Okay, so this here's a more detailed, but still high level introduction. So let's say we make a key guess. Then based on this key guess, we can tabulate all the possible results, all the values of this, all the values of the intermediate result, and all the power consumptions. The right part, this is real, and this part is a hypothetical based on the key guess. Okay, so every row will be corresponding to one input. Okay, the second row will be another input. So we can try as many input as we want, and the more input the greater number you have, and the more precise and the more efficient attack you will have. Okay, then we can calculate the values. The values between this hypothetical value, intermediate values, and the power consumptions. Okay, we can compute their correlation. If we could find some peaks during this correlation trace, then we can confirm that the guess about this key byte is correct. Otherwise, if the key byte is wrong, then it's pretty much like a white noise. Okay. Then where to attack? This is a flow of all this computation, a part of this computation. So we attack here to get these two values, K and the tweak value, OPC, and we attack here to get the rotational value. Okay, and we are doing this many times. So I will give introduction to the first two attacks, and all the rest they are just likewise. Okay, first of all we collect the power trace. Okay, then we just identify the segment of interest using, we call this in simple power analysis. Then we just zoom in. Okay, so as we can see, these parts, they just corresponding to the first round of AES. Then you know that when we do a DPA, we recover the secret key from the encryption of this random value, and here this random number, the IND is public. But the challenge is here we have two secrets, right? We have the tweak value and we also have the encryption key. Okay, so how to adapt the standard DPA to handle this situation, which is some challenge. Okay, so then we just, if we look into this box, the encryption of AES, actually know that AES doing this many round of iterations. First of all, it will XOR this input with the master key and do the first round computation, and then XOR it with the master key of the second, the round key, the second round key, and do another second round operation. Okay, so if taking an equivalent view, we can just absorb this OPC into this box. Okay, so they are equivalent because by the linearity of XOR, we can just write here. We just write K XOR with OPC instead of K. Okay. So then we can attack the first round of AES. Here, the trick is just to reveal that we use another key prime, which is the XOR between K and OPC, and we can get the XOR sum of these two values. Okay. Then we attack the second round to recover the second round key. And you know in AES 128, the second round, the round keys and the master keys, they are invertible from each other. Okay? So by doing these two round attacks, we can recover both K and OPC. Okay? Then the next challenge is to recover the rotational parameters. So if you look back, we can see here. So we are going to attack this part, right? Actually, by the time we get to this point, so this value is already known on the line. The value on the line is already known. Just this R2 is unknown, and we can write this R2 as a multiple of 8 plus some residue. Okay. And we were going to attack recover I and J sequentially and independently. Okay. First we will try to recover J, and here in this case I is not relevant because I is just I times 8. So even if regardless the value of I, all the bytes they are the same. It's just permutations, right? Because the bytes, but not the number of bits in the byte is 8. So if we attack this part, assuming that this I is 0 without loss of generality. Okay, so we just try different guesses about J and do a hypothesis testing. Okay, so we guess J is 1, and we write all the resulting bytes and correlated the first byte, for example, to the trace. Okay. And next, we are going to recover I. And this time, as I said, once we get J, all these resulting bytes, they are just the permutations, as right-shift permutation, right? So we can just correlate all the bytes to the traces and observe the sequence of correlations on the time axis, okay? Because I is essentially the number of bytes shifted in the time axis, because I is just, R2 is just a 8 multiple for I. So in this way, we can recover J and I sequentially and combine to get R2. Okay, so that's pretty much the technical part of our results. Okay, so we tried this. We succeeded on 8 SIM cards. They are from different operators and manufacturers, but here they are anonymized. To keep this presentation purely technical. Okay, and some of them they use different technologies. The first 5 they use 3G technology, and the last 3 use 4G technologies. Okay, and some operators they choose to use only secrets K and OPC, and the other operators to use all secret values for all parameters. Okay, and then the time needed for recovering all these secrets range from 10 to 80 minutes, and we using like 20 or from 20 up to 1,000 power traces. And here's a demo. So we are going to, the phone in the middle is a normal SIM card, So we have this this phone and its clone. And we are going to make, first of all, we make a phone call from the one in the middle to the right one. And then after that, we are doing another phone call from its clone to a third phone. Okay, let's see. This phone will be ring, and we third number. So you see the number, and if we change to another phone, I mean, if we switch to its clone and dial the same number, this one, so, and it will display the same number, right? Okay, so this is the first demo, and the second demo is slightly more advanced. Just to reset in the password of Alipay. You know that Alipay is the greatest, the largest online payment, third-party online payment, Chinese online payment system. It's like the Chinese version of a PayPal. So first of all, So on this phone, we can just log in to this app normally, right? Without any problem. If you are a legitimate user, and you have password, you can just log in, right? And the user ID is the phone number. And on this clone, on the clone of this phone, if you don't know number, you can always request. I mean, you say, "Hey, I don't know number, but I forgot. I forgot the password, and please send me the OTP." So, requested the OTP, sent to this phone. I send to the clone, and I just type in the OTP, and now I can already reset the password. Okay, so the attacker is setting a new password for this account. Okay, and now we can just log in to this account using the new password. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Okay, so to conclude, the lessons learned are threefold. As a cryptographer, we learn something about design of crypto systems. So if you already have a block cipher and you want to add more secret to this block cipher to enjoy better security, it is in general not possible, because in this case you get add all secrets. It seems that the exhaustive search space seems to be enlarged, but it's not true. Right? And the dilemma is, I have talked to some of these smart makers, and they are not, because this SIM card, they are really cheap, because they don't actually make any money out of this. So they don't want to invest any more, make any investment on the security protection. But you know that this kind of SIM cards, they are issued in huge quantities, right? If there is some insecurity, it will imply possibly great impact and great financial loss. Okay, so that's the dilemma. And I want to raise the awareness of physical security for this kind of small embedded devices, because in practice, the practical security requires both mathematically secure algorithms such as AES, but this alone is not sufficient. We also need sufficient countermeasures in place against physical attacks, such as side channel attacks, right, power analysis, and maybe photo attacks as well. Okay, let's conclude my talk. And for more technical details, please check out our historics paper. Okay, technical details. Thank you.